I'm Beverly, and I'm on the witness stand. Just an FYI for the next couple of videos that I'm doing on the Adelson murder trial, I have found some information when editing. Just an FYI on the Adelson murder trial commentaries that I'm going to give you, I have found some more information that I either did not put in and need to, or that I needed to clarify. So you're going to see breaks in the video where it looks like I'm in different places and wearing different things. And that's because I'm splicing them in. So forgive me ahead of time, but please stay tuned and watch. Welcome back to the witness stand, everybody. I know it's been a while since I've been back, but just sometimes life happens. So I wanted to let you know I have been following the Donna Adelson murder case. This is a doozy, and I am so sorry to have not kept you up, but I am going to let you know what has been happening. And you can go back and you can follow this a little bit more if you want to, and you want to get a little bit more in depth. But so let's just start out with, I'm going to give you the main players in this. You may need a flow chart. Okay, so the first thing is you have Dan Markle. He was, or Markel, whoever wants to, how you want to say it, but I think it's Markel. Okay. So he is the one that was killed. All right. He had a wife named Wendy. They have 2 kids. And at the time, and I have to tell you that this happened 11 years ago. It's been a long time in the making, but it's not been slacking off or delays or anything like that. It's been trial after trial after trial, and we'll get into that in a minute. So we've got Dan, who was murdered, and we've got Wendy, who is his wife, and their 2 children. And at the time, they were like 4 and 6, maybe somewhere around there. So they were small. And then you have the Adelson family. That is Dan's in-laws. What? When I talk to you about this family, you're going to go back and appreciate yours, even if it's like mine and crazy. I could tell you stories, but I won't. I don't know, I may someday. But then you've got, in the Adelson family, you have the matriarch, which is Donna. You have the patriarch, which is Harvey. And then the kids, which in birth order was Robert, and then Charlie, and then Wendy. Okay, so Wendy was the baby, and apparently she was really coddled a whole lot. Well, that's what I think anyway. Then you have what we're going to call the hit team, and that consists of Sigfredo Garcia, Luis Rivera, Catherine Magbanua. Now, that's a hard name to say. That's the hit team. That's the 3. Okay. These are your players. So look at, it's like your cast: Dan, Wendy, the kids, the Adelson family, which is Donna and Harvey, and then the kids, Robert, Charlie, and Wendy. Okay. Then you got the hit team. So let's kind of give you a backstory on Dan and Wendy. Excuse me. They got married in 2006, and then they have the 2 sons. Okay. Both these people were academically amazing. So both were lawyers, and they were in academics. So they taught, they were professors at, where was it? I don't know. It was whatever big colleges in Tallahassee. Sorry. Anyway, so they both taught there. But Wendy was kind of like an adjunct. She'd come in and give speeches, and she would also teach classes here and there. She was on a grant, so she was a lot less stable in her employment. Dan, on the other hand, had so many degrees. I think he just loved school. So he had so many degrees, and he was very well liked and an excellent teacher at this college. And he was highly sought. Now, they lived in South Florida, from my understanding, which is where the Adelson family are from. They're from Coral Springs. But he got this job offer in Tallahassee. And so he left, and they moved to Tallahassee. Wendy wasn't happy about it. She did not like it. But more than anything, her mother did not like it. The whole family didn't, with the exception of Robert. And he got to where he just didn't care. And he's a character that I can't wait to tell you about, and then we'll move him out, okay? But they moved to Tallahassee. She didn't like it. Mom started in about them moving to back down to down towards Miami, and he wasn't having any part of it. Wendy said that she was okay with, she didn't like it. She wanted to go down South Florida, but she had just kind of figured after a lot of stuff happened that she would just make the best of it until the kids got older. All right. Started having problems in the marriage, and they divorced in 2013. But it was so contentious. There were orders, filings going back and forth and back and forth. And one of the issues that Donna had with Dan was that he had become very devout in his Jewish faith. She was Jewish, but not as Jewish, not as devout as he was. So, he went the route of kosher food. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know. I don't really know about the Jewish faith. So anyway, he was very strong in his Jewish faith, and she was not so much. She didn't like the kosher. She didn't like that he was teaching the kids, like he was sending them to Jewish schools, and she didn't like the fact that, the kids were learning Jewish words. All right, then. Mom, Donna, was like a dog after a bone. She was adamant in getting Wendy back down there. I think it was the grandchildren. I think she really wanted to be around the grandchildren. But let's get this straight. They were wealthy, very wealthy. So you get your tail on a plane and you fly up there. It's not going to be that many. It's not going to be, an hour or so? Because I can fly from North Carolina to Miami and nothing flat. So I don't want to hear you rich people problems, right? Okay. So they would sometimes drive 8 hours. 8 hours. And they were an older couple, and sometimes they'd rent a car, and sometimes they'd stop halfway. But that's what they would do most times to get to see Wendy and the boys. Good Lord. Good Lord. And when I tell you the rest of it, you're going to wonder, why in the world did they not just throw the money out and fly? I mean, they could buy their own plane. But needless to say, big problems. There was what they ended up calling a grandmother order, where apparently when the boys were with Dan, they mentioned that their grandma, Donna, had said he was stupid and that he was trying to take her sunshines away. And when he asked them, what are her sunshines? They said, us. So that stuck in his craw. And so he went after in a filing. He went after that, but unfortunately that never got heard. He went after Wendy for trying to move to South Florida because it was so far away from his kids. And he had really been a good father. And the judge, there was a comment about, he hadn't pulled any of their toenails out and he was not going to do this. So he stopped the order and said that the boys could not move, not until they were older, but they could not move to South Florida. Well, Donna went nuts. Donna was not taking that. She was going to continue going after Dan. She enlisted the help of the middle son, who is Charlie. And so there is the beginning of this trial, of this event, the beginning. So before I get into the rest of this, let me tell you about Robert. If I've got this straight, Robert, the oldest son, did not want to be. Oh, I should have told you that the family was, most of them were in dentistry. The father owned his own practice, which they named the Adelson Institute. And then Charlie, the middle child, went and got all of this, these degrees and certifications and stuff. And he was a periodontist. I guess that's what they do, surgery. And so he was not married. He had lots of girlfriends and he enjoyed making the money. But he worked like 6 days a week. So he worked hard and he played hard. Fancy cars, just, everything, fancy house, all that stuff. But, okay, so Mom and Charlie. All right, Robert he was dating this girl, and she was of a different race, not Jewish. And the parents got royally pissed off about it. And so he was trying to be the dutiful son. And he ended up marrying this other girl that the parents approved of. But as soon as he got married, he realized this is not what he wanted. This is absolutely not what he wanted. So they annulled or divorced, whatever. They broke up the marriage, and he went back to the first girlfriend, and they got married. And so they are living in New York, and they are quite estranged. He and his wife are quite estranged from the family. So thank God he was, because he is out of the picture. All right, so we're not going to talk about Robert anymore. The whole plot was getting the kids and Wendy to South Florida. And when they couldn't do that, Donna and Charlie concocted a plan to kill Dan. You true crime aficionados know people don't get away with this. I don't even know why they try. They're not going to get away with it. So I don't know why they try. And these people were crazy. I mean, come on, y'all. You could put together a better scenario than what these nuts did. Okay, so let's just go at it. Donna was so adamant that she did not accept that the judge had said he rejected the relocation, so they had to stay there. And Wendy said on the stand that she had just said that was what it was, and there was nothing else that could be done about it. The court said it. And another key piece is both of them stipulated to it. So that means they agreed. They understood it. They accepted the fact that it was the end. But she didn't tell her mom that she stipulated. She just said, it's done, it's over with. But mom didn't take that. So she still was going after all kinds of stuff. So mom started writing up these orders to file. I don't know that they're called orders, but they're filings. And she said she wrote it in Wendy's voice, but she wrote it and had Wendy forward it to Wendy's attorney, which the attorney thought it was Wendy that wanted these things. So she kept filing motions. Motions, that's the word. That's the word I was looking for. Okay. So now you kind of have the background. Okay. Mom was crazy. She had a mission and she wasn't going to let it go. We can't figure out, and when I say we, I mean me and the prosecution so far, but I think they've got something up their sleeve. The father was in on it. For all intents and purposes, it looks like he was aware of it, whether he had any, direct involvement, I don't know, but he definitely was aware of it. Based on everything I've seen, he was aware of it. Okay, so Charlie, he was the professional. He dealt with all of these, highfalutin doctors and all that stuff. And he went and spoke at conferences, and he was just very well connected. But he also wanted to be connected in maybe a seedier kind of life. And I think it had everything to do with getting contacts to make this murder for hire. I'm sorry, I've got my new microphone. Anyway, because the other one went bust. But anyway, so I know I go off on tangents, but that's just me. I hope that doesn't turn you off, but it's just me. So I think he wanted to get into some contacts. So he meets this girl named Catherine Magbanua, Magbanua. I think she was Hispanic. Don't hold me to that, but I think she was. Okay, she had a baby daddy, and they go back and forth, and his name was Sigfredo Garcia. She talked to him about, Charlie talked to her about, did she know anybody that could hurt somebody? And she said yes. And so she went to Sigfredo. Well, there was still some jealousy and stuff like that, but Sigfredo wasn't going to turn down money. At first, the report was they were offered $15,000 to do this hit, but later on, it became more like I think it went up to $100,000. So, there you go. But then he enlisted a friend of his, Luis Rivera, to drive him there to Charlie's house. But they did some research on him. Can't remember the name. Surveillance. They did that on him to find out, where he went, what time he came home, stuff like that. Then, at this point, Wendy was dating a man. His last name is Lacasse, Lacasse, and for the life of me, I can't think of his first name, but he sounded like a really good guy. And he was dating Wendy, and I think he figured out that this was too chaotic. This was a mess, and he was wanting out of it. The boyfriend said that it was just something that they talked about all the time, and he was getting sick of it. And he said, it got to the point where he couldn't deal with this constantly. He went to a dinner, I think, with her family, and that was the talking point too. And I think he just thought, this is nuts. And at one point, Wendy said to him, and I'll get to it a little bit. I'll get you the exact quote. But she said something like, "Can I tell you a secret? Charlie was looking into hiring a hitman to kill Dan." And he said his stomach flipped and he got cold chills. And it was right after that that he got out of the relationship. But they still killed him. And it was right around that time. Okay, so now you know how the hit team is linked together with Charlie. Charlie was just as adamant about getting Dan as the mom was. He kind of was a mama's boy, but he also he was criminalistic too. Okay, so it didn't bother him at all that he got into it. And one of the quotes that we heard over and over and over was he got a big TV for a present, a divorce present, and I couldn't afford a hitman, so I got you this TV instead. She said it was a sick joke, but isn't it interesting? That was brought up a lot in the trial. So he was going after Dan because he was going to help his mom. Now here's where the mess happens. This is where I said, what is wrong with these people, that not only do you think you can plan a murder and get away with it, but sometimes people are so stupid. We all know that this doesn't work.